Budget 2019. Powered by Kamla Pasand, Boeing, Future Group, Ravin, Ramco Hilux, Yes Bank, and Raymond.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good morning to all of you here today. And this is Budget Day Live. We thought it would be Vote on Account Day Live, or we thought it would be Interim Budget Day Live. But lo and behold, the Narendra Modi government doesn't cease to surprise. And today, there's going to be a full-fledged budget presentation, which in itself, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be a talking point of the day. The argument that is being made out here is that the opposition says you have no right to present a full budget. The apprehension in the opposition is that a full budget will mean that in a pre-election season, Narendra Modi is going to announce a series of populist measures aimed at getting a larger share of the vote in the elections. And hence, if you were able to curtail Mr. Modi's government to an interim budget, it would not have the requisite political impact. That is not happening. They have the numbers and they're not going to be stopped. Now, will this budget be pro-poor? 100% I'm sure it's going to be. Will it be pro-jobs? They will have to show that it's going to be pro-jobs. Will they have to do a thin, defined balancing act between these two kind of situations? I don't think it is possible. Will the opposition fault and crib? 100% they'll fault and crib. But you cannot be in denial that today there are going to be a series of measures which are going to be announced, which are going to be aimed at getting the largest share of the vote. It is an acknowledgement to the voter that I expect to see today. And with me, we have a fantastic panel. We have the 007 looking today, wearing elegant shades, Mr. Sunit Chopra. Mr. Chopra, I just want to remind you, the budget has not yet been presented, so your usual critical speech can be presented sometime from now. Good morning to you, Mr. Sunit Chopra. Welcome. Okay, I don't have the audio line. Faizan Kidwai, you can smile. You can smile, it's okay. It's not the end of the world.
Yes, I'm smiling.
Sambit Patra is joining us. Bijon Mishra.
We will expose this current government, and the people won't.
How can you expose them when you don't know what they are going to say? You have a predetermined agenda.
Mr. Goswami,
you see,
the people of India are very intelligent. They cannot be fooled.
Faizan.
Mr. Narendra Modi had approximately 5 years. He did nothing. I have an entire chart with me that all the previous promises and the he made in the budget, how many of them has the Narendra Modi government honored?
Let's get in.
Nothing. He has failed the government.
This is the problem with you,
people of this country.
Arnab, good morning.
Okay,
this is not the problem with me, Mr. Goswami. This is the problem with BJP.
And with us is Uday Ved.
We'll sort out the problem of BJP now.
Which is Uday Ved. For tax and other implications, partner at KNAV Chartered Accountants. Aarti Cherath, welcome to the studio. GVR Shastri joining us. I have with me Lalita Kumar Mangalam. Thank you very much, Lalita, for staying on for a little bit.
Nice to be here.
Thank you. It's nice to see you as well. And should we start? We have Mr. Vikas with me here in the studio. Vikas, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you feeling today? Abhishek has breaking news. Abhishek is breaking news. Shivani is in the studio. Let's show the full screen. And I think we go straight to the breaking news at the start with Abhishek. What information do you have? You have a few bullet points you want to share. We're going to keep an eye on the Sensex numbers. And we're going to keep an eye on the basic news points as they begin to come in. So we'll fill the screen up with graphics and then we go for the KLN viewers. Once again, before we start, I want to tell you that if your cable operator or if your DTH provider has not provided you Republic Bharat yet, which is very, very unlikely because across the entire country, Republic Bharat, our forthcoming Hindi news channel, is launching tomorrow. Republic Bharat, India's #1 English news channel, Hindi news channel, will be launching tomorrow. The tone and tenor will be the same as Republic. It'll be hard, newsy. It'll keep a focus on breaking news. It is Rashtra Ke Naam, service for the nation. In case you're not getting it, my sincere request to you is, please contact us via our website or contact your cable operator. We're going to go all out to make sure the channel reaches you. Abhishek.
Arnab, before I get into the bullet points of what is expected from the budget, just some, a picture of how the economy looks like, how the situation is as of today when the finance minister picks up that brown bag.
Yeah.
Monthly GST revenues have crossed 1 lakh crores last month.
Yeah.
Yesterday, there was a development where 3 banks have been taken out of the prompt corrective action mechanism by the RBI, public sector banks, which means that those 3 banks are doing fine now and are out of the ICU. GDP growth numbers sustain at about 7.2% over the last 3-4 quarters. Sensex was up 665 points. On the global scene, Dow had reclaimed to 25,000 mark yesterday with a jump of over 400 points. The Fed, the American Fed Reserve, yesterday indicated that there is no further scope of rate hike. Essentially, it reflects on how the Indian economy would respond. So essentially, the finance minister, Piyush Goyal, in this case today,
what are we expecting for people? That's the macro picture.
So I was coming to that.
What are we expecting for people?
So I was coming to that. So essentially, all this provides a situation where, given the fiscal discipline that this government has maintained, there is a scope for opening the goodie bag. And as the cabinet
what is that goodie bag going to be?
As the cabinet meets for approving the budget at the Parliament House, you can expect that there would be a farm package. We are being told it's going to be up to about 1 lakh crore rupees, which can include a cash transfer scheme to compensate the farmers for all the input costs. There are already indications that a template of the Telangana Raitu Bandhu scheme or the Orissa Kalia scheme could be used for that. And then there is likelihood of some tax exemptions for the pension system called the NPS, and possible tweaking of the income tax slab. But of course, the big expectation would be, Arnab, some kind of universal basic income.
That is my first point today, on which I go to Sambit Patra and all the other guests in the studio. Let's open the debate and the whole story. Those are the budget papers which are being presented to Parliament. You know, it's incredible out there. Let's see those pictures out there. Each year, it looks exactly the same. The budget papers is the same. I suspect the truck which brings them is the same. The bags are the same. I just hope the budget papers are not the same. But in any case, even if they are the same, then Mr. Chidambaram should not be cribbing, because he was the one who gave in more SOPs in the pre-election year. Hypocrisy for the opposition to say don't have a budget. Mr. Chidambaram, do you have something called a memory or not? The big question this morning, will the Universal Basic Income Scheme, which is the scheme whereby the government guarantees to every individual in this country a minimum income that they can count on to live a life of basic dignity, will that happen? That is the question. And that's what we should throw to Sambit Patra. Should this be implemented, it will be the biggest and most historic pro-poor measure by the Modi government. And in order to preempt that, Rahul Gandhi said some time back, I'm going to announce a universal basic income if the Congress party were to come to power. It would be a revolutionary move, but what does it mean? It means that whether or not you're rich, you're poor, whether you're working or not, you would receive a fixed income from the government. Universal basic income is the first step towards taking accountability of the welfare of the people and providing an amount that is basic for survival. At a time when joblessness is on the rise, there's no immediate solution to it. It is a radical concept, Sambit, that unconditionally delivers to every individual in this country a basic salary based on the individual needs. Now, I would like to add a caveat here. Mr. Modi is not known in the past to believe in SOPs.
Yes.
He's a delivery man.
Yes.
He does not believe in SOPs. I would be surprised. Let me say it openly. I would be surprised
if they go for it.
If they go for it.
The BJP has
they will
already
do
called
everything short of it, in my view, but they will not go for the universal basic income scheme. And I don't think Rahul Gandhi saying it is going to make a difference, but you can never say. What do you think, Sambit? Sambit and Faizan. Let's open to everyone.
Piyush, good morning. Arnab, good morning to all of you.
I'm not Piyush Goyal.
It's a very important.
Sambit,
Arnab,
case of mistaken identity. Should I get the finance minister on the phone?
Mr. Sambit Patra.
Yeah, in case you don't speak to lesser mortals
I was about to say something else.
Mr. Sambit Patra once again wants to change the finance minister.
It's okay, it's okay. It's good to see all of you laughing and
The finance minister is not supposed to be
Thank you,
speaking.
Mr. Goswami. It's good. It's good to see all of us laughing and smiling. It's a very good beginning of the budget day. But nonetheless, let me come to the most important issue that you have questioned me on. Remember, budgets of this country are almost a balance sheet. It is not about one-upmanship. It's not about political rhetoric. It is about
and those
prudence.
are pictures of Piyush Goyal. 1 minute. I'll go full frame to those pictures for a minute. Always, always, as always, that's Interim Union Finance Minister Piyush Goyal with the briefcase. Now, there he is. He's happy. Now, one thing about Piyush Goyal, a very, very successful chartered accountant, investment banker. There isn't a person with a better background to be doing this today. And he will be missing Mr. Arun Jaitley, who is recuperating from his recent, medical interventions in the United States of America. The country wishes Mr. Arun Jaitley well, quick, speedy recovery. I'm told he's going to be coming back in a few days, which is fantastic news. And he is also Piyush Goyal's mentor. So those were the pictures, mandatory pictures. Go back to the debate. Is the UBI going to be announced? Universal Basic Income Scheme. Go ahead, Sambit.
Yeah, Arnab, what I was saying was, look, it is not about one-upmanship or rhetorics. Budget is all about prudence. And remember, as far as basic income is concerned, universal income is concerned, the basic economic understanding that needs to be put into the ground over here is, will the fiscal deficit, will the inflation, will the prudence stand by it? So I firmly believe that I am not the brown suitcase who knows as to what is contained within it. That only Mr. Piyush Goyal knows. And within a few minutes from now, we would probably be hearing from him. But the most important issue is, for God's sake, let's not politicize something where prudence is essential. Secondly, and extremely importantly, as far as this budget is concerned, I firmly believe, let me steal a few words from what Mr. Arnab Mukherjee, the then finance minister in 2008 and 9, while presenting quote-unquote vote on account, had said that extraordinary situations do demand extraordinary measures. So to say that this is just an interim budget, to say that this is just a vote on account, and that's the reason as to why the government should not step in into a the government should not step in into a field. The government should not step in into a field with.
Mr. Patra,
it's not a giveaway. I do not know, Mr.
Budget, sir, you have not
I know as much as you or anyone in the panel knows.
Honored what you have promised in the budgets.
No, just a second. Let's not fight over each other.
Should the people
let's
of India
not speak over each other. Mr. Goswami, I or anyone from the Bharatiya Janata Party would be knowing as much as you or anyone on this panel know. But since this is a debate, we are all making our point. I firmly believe that as far as the push on the agricultural sector is talked about, I was hearing you before I joined in. You were talking about a push, and Abhishek was also talking about a push into the agriculture sector. Well, yes, if the need be, Mr. Modi has always talked about the agriculture sector. It has been a priority sector. We will move ahead with that. But remember, Mr. Modi has consistently followed with something which I would like to reiterate.
Agriculture sector has suffered miserably under you.
Just a second, sir.
It has deteriorated, and the income from agriculture
let's not bicker like this. Sir, you'll have your own time.
You can counter me. It's the worst in the last 20 years.
You'll have your own time.
What are you talking about, Mr. Sambit Patra?
Don't sound like a rattled cycle, sir. Sir, don't sound like a rattled cycle. Today is a budget day. Sir, you have your own time.
Don't worry about my cycle, sir. You worry about your Lotus.
Don't sound like a rattled cycle.
Sir, you worry about your decaying Lotus, sir. Sir, you don't worry about my cycle, sir. You worry about your decaying Lotus, which the people will pluck and throw away very soon in 2019.
Okay, sir, let me come.
Just few days left, sir.
Okay.
You can smell your Lotus, sir. By the way, it is decaying, sir.
You can begin,
It is smelling of corruption.
Sir, it's not about Lotus, sir. Let me complete, sir.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Mr. Goswami, look, as far as Mr. Modi is concerned, he has consistently said about one thing. He had, right from the first day, he had said that, look, mindless, needless populism need not be pragmatism, need not be the takeaway of any budget. He has followed that till today, and I firmly believe that Mr. Modi, who has always believed the mantra of reform, perform and transform, had really reformed and transformed the economy of this country, and I believe that that would be the mark that we are going to see in today's budget presentation.
Okay, Sambit and Faizan.
You done, sir?
I think I would like to introduce also at this stage. Let's get a perspective from Mumbai. Taking a very close watch on what's happening is my friend Ajay Bagga, Executive Chairman of OPC Asset Solutions, and Uday Ved, partner of KNAV Chartered Accountants. Is Mumbai nervous, Ajay? First to you, is Mumbai nervous in a pre-election budget? Mumbai is always a little edgy in a pre-election budget. How is it this time?
Well, Arnab, it's got discounted in already, and yesterday we saw a very good move up in the markets, and we saw 3,000 crores coming into the market from foreign investors yesterday, which was a vote of confidence to some extent. So what the market is really looking for is, where does the fiscal deficit number come? I personally think it's a non-event. It will come very much within expectations. The three big expectations are: one, farm package, a farm relief package, which will be very positive for consumption. And Arnab, our economy really runs on consumption. 65% of our GDP is by private consumption expenditure. So any money that is put into that gets a multiplier. So it will be very positive for the economy. The second big thing will be some relief for the small trader, the small SME. We expect some packages to come there. Already Mudra is doing excellent work there. A lot of money has gone into that part of the economy. And third will be some relief to the middle class, who has really stood by the government, who are very compliant in paying their taxes. We are expecting an increase in the exemption limit for the taxes. So these are the three big takes from the budget, Arnab. But overall, we expect
if I hear you,
which
Ajay,
will address a lot of the...
If I hear you, Ajay, you sound so reassuring here for a lot of people, because the sense one gets in Delhi is sometimes always hyperbolic before an election. Oh, Mr. Modi is going to ruin the finance, the fiscal deficit. Oh, the fiscal is going to go for a toss. Oh, it's going to go for 5%. It's the end of the world kind of situation. But what I hear is very practical logic that's coming in from Ajay, where he says we are a consumption-driven economy. And a big farm package is going to benefit consumption and benefit the country. There are no end-of-the-world scenarios. Ajay, please stay on. I'd like to also welcome Sanjay Mehta, who's from the Indian Merchants Chamber, the Deputy Director General of the Indian Merchants Chamber. But before that, to you, Uday. Uday, what can we expect in terms of tax concessions on the taxation front, on the personal income front? What should we expect? How will this affect inflows for the people of this country? Uday.
Okay. Thanks, Arnab. Clearly, this is not a vote on account, as I think indications are very clear. It's an interim budget. And so it would certainly, if that's the case, there would be taxation proposals, as we call it in the part B of the budget speech. I think in order to make it more for the common man, key would be whether the exemption limit would be raised from 2.5 lakhs to maybe all the way up to 5 lakhs. Personally, I feel 5 lakhs I think is a high limit. Here is a case where the government wants to increase the tax base, so you generally don't want people to go out of the tax net. Having said that, Finance Minister did it very smartly 2 years back, when for the 2.5 lakh to 5 lakhs, the tax rate was reduced from 10 to 5%. Okay, that gave a lot of relief. And if you look at the ATC limit of insurance premium and provident fund, etc., 2.5 lakh anyway goes to 4 lakhs. Plus, you have a standard deduction for the employees, it goes to 4.4 lakhs. So I think rather than increasing the exemption, maybe a good thing in my view would be to raise the standard deduction from 40,000 to 1 lakh. I mean, that really will help the salaried class people. That is one. And certainly 2.5 lakh limit can go to up to 3 lakhs, 3.5 lakh. That would add more money to the common man, and that will come in the way of bringing more money into the economy by higher spending. So I think that's on the individual front. I don't see any changes on the higher income bracket. And
you think so?
Just 5%, the 5% deduction.
Uday, I would say this time.
Yes.
I would say this time, Uday.
Yes.
That of course you're the expert, but knowing the political scenario in the country, I would expect a 5 lakh tax exemption limit to be very, very practically, implementable for the government right now.
But Arnab, that
anything below 5 lakhs will not register.
But Arnab, difficulty here is...
What is the problem? You don't want common people to be
I want. What I just ask you one point. What Arun Jaitley in his last budget speech said, that there are only 76 lakh taxpayers above 5 lakhs. And what this government is taking credit, that we've increased the taxpayers from 3.5 crores to 6 crores. If you raise it to 5 lakhs. Yes.
No, I just want to bring in a very practical issue here. Any changes in the income tax slab requires an amendment to the Income Tax Act. No, please, Arnab, they cannot. It's not a full budget.
It is a full budget.
They have listed it as an interim budget.
This is the last and final budget.
It is listed in Parliament on the agenda as an interim budget.
Getting tax relief cannot be objected to feasibly by any political party.
It's not a question of objected to. There is a technical issue here.
No. Aam Aadmi getting tax relief cannot be objected to.
Nobody is objecting to it. We all benefit from it.
Why did they do it in 2018 budget?
When my income tax is calculated, I get that benefit of 5 lakhs being tax-free. All of us benefit from it.
The same finance minister,
we are all very happy to have
to each other. No, I exist in the studio. Lalita, what do you think?
It cannot be done without an amendment to the Income Tax Act.
Let's be practical. Without being partisan, let's be practical. It is the last budget before the elections. Of course, there are going to be some sops for those who've stood by our party and by our government. Yeah. More the government than the party, right? And there is a cacophony of voices which wants to bring Mr. Modi down. And he will see to it that the budget in such a way meets the needs of the people who need it the most, as well as the people who have stood by the BJP government and have helped us to come so far in the last 5 years.
Well, I mean, you know...
I'm being very frank and very practical.
No, absolutely. I think that is fair enough. Every government is entitled to do something on the eve of election.
I just want to tell you, viewers, that as of now, between 2.5 and 5 lakh, between 2.5 and 5 lakh, let's not be penny-wise, pound-foolish.
No, I think she's making a technical point.
I'm making a technical point.
But Arnab was also made a point that's very relevant.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am making a technical point.
Can I reply to Aarti? A few seconds, please, Mr. Goswami.
Sambit, yes, Sambit.
You can do
now, Aarti, a short point.
That can be
Aarti,
done
remember,
through
there's a difference between a convention.
You cannot do anything that requires an amendment to a law.
Exactly.
Don't hound me like a headmistress, Aarti. Hear me, Aarti, please. Aarti, remember, there is a difference between convention and a constitutional rule or a law. As far as interim budget, thank you. As far as vote on account or an interim budget is concerned, that is a convention. That is not a constitutional law. Because remember in 1948 when the first budget was presented, I mean the interim budget, so-called budget, when the government was outgoing was presented, it was, if I'm remembering rightly, it was R.K. Shanmugam Shetty, the first finance minister. He said that, well, yes, let this be the convention. The convention has been broken umpteen number of times. Pranab Mukherjee, when he extended the ambit of the fiscal deficit, it was huge, from 2.5 to 6.5. That was also an interim budget. We had seen tax slabs, tax cut, etc. being changed during interim, so-called interim budgets. To say that there has to be an executive order for the same is a wrong understanding of a convention versus a constitutionally laid down rule.
Yes. Yes, you know, I also want to tell you, by the way, viewers, present income slab is what? Between 2.5 and 5 lakh, tax at 5%. Between 5 lakh and 10 lakh, you attract income tax of 10%. Yes. Right? Now, this is the middle class of the country. Yes. And I think if there is any benefit given to the middle class of the country, even Aarti Jairath will eventually benefit from it.
Of course.
And even she'll be cheering for it right now. So spread the good cheer.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I'm only raising a technical point. That's
well, you're making a political point. Sanjay Mehta of the Indian Merchants Chamber.
You made up your mind and there's no debate.
I have never made up my mind. I'm the most open-minded person you would find on Indian television or today. Well, I would now ask Sanjay Mehta to give his views on what is the last and final budget, you know, of this Modi government. Yes, please, Sanjay.
Morning, Arnab, morning all my panelists. Yes, firstly I agree with Mr. Sandeep Patra that this is just a convention and not the constitutional law, and nothing stops a government to present a budget that is as good as a full budget. And as far as this budget is, this budget is concerned, the expectations are very much there for increase in the limit of personal tax, not to the tune of 2.5 to 5 lakhs, but at least somewhere some figure which will bring cheers and benefit to the middle class, which is due for a very long time. And another expectation from business community here is a reduction in the corporate tax. If you remember, Mr. Arun Jaitley in his first budget has mentioned that the corporate tax he will gradually bring down to 25%. So that is where the eyes of the business community is on this budget.
I just managed to pull out a fantastic document. Please look at this, and everyone will be very interested with this bit of information, especially you, Faizan, and Ajay Bagga and Ravi Srivastav, Abdul Razak. Look at this. This is the interim budget of 2014-15, presented by His Excellency P. Chidambaram. The first line of P. Chidambaram's interim budget is, it's P. Chidambaram. I found, he says, as I prepared to write this speech, first line of the budget, Sunit Chopra. As I prepared to write this speech, I found that whether it is a regular budget for the full year or an interim budget, things remain the same. This is his opening statement in the 2014. So stop complaining. Stop trying to use this.
That is February 17th,
Stop complaining, Razak and Sunit Chopra. Stop trying to use this interim budget argument to stymie some good things that the government may do for the people of India. Stop, I'm horrified at your opportunism.
Arnab, a common man, definitely has some expectations from this government.
You will pay the same price as Chidambaram paid.
What is?
He hopes.
This is Chidambaram in the interim budget of 2014, Sunit Chopra. He says, interim budget or full budget, we are not affected by what happens in the rest of the world.
What happened after 2014?
How do things change in 2019?
What happened after 2014? Remember that.
He says they lost the elections.
Remember.
The quick crash course you are giving me in Indian politics is not necessary. Though you're older and more handsome than me. The question is right now this, that I need to tell you that budget speculation is rife about it being a populist budget. No one is contesting that. What I'm simply telling you is that Chidambaram's budget speech in 2014 throws the full budget versus interim budget theory out of the window. That's the point I'm making. Debate that with me.
Not really.
Debate that with me. Let's have everyone debate that with me. Go on.
He paid the price.
No, there's no, paid the price is not an argument. Paid the price is Bijan Mishra. Bijan Mishra.
Bijan Mishra. No, the CAG report.
Arnab, a common man definitely has some expectations from the government. I agree with Sunit Chopra that the common man has already paid a price. The common man paid 92 rupees for fuel. The government was getting crude at $38.
Arnab, they are scared.
From this government, Gabbar Singh tax. After being defeated in 5 states, they think about farmers.
Arnab, good morning. Arnab, good morning. Good morning.
15 years in Chhattisgarh.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, good morning.
They did not do anything for the farmers.
Nowadays, morning, day or night, Razak doesn't let you talk.
Your viewers know.
Give out jumlas.
Arnab, the viewers, the Republic TV viewers know that Narendra Modi is going to come back and take it forward. This is going to be a great morning for us. The budget will take us forward.
Sir,
and I'm sure the second term of Narendra Modi would roll out the budget. We want to see that Narendra Modi takes forward the second term with a new budget which is going to come forward today. They're all scared. The opposition is scared.
From the farmers, from the youth, from the middle class.
The opposition is scared.
I now want to ask my second question.
Opposition is not ready to face it. Opposition is not ready to face that he is going to come out with something very good today.
दुगना हो चुका है.
For all of us, you will see.
2014 debt on India was 42 lakh crore. Today it is 84 lakh
very good
crore.
package. You will see that all the middle class will have a smiling face in the next 2 hours.
The government.
I now want to. I want to tell you one more thing. I want to. Let me go and let me expose the opposition on this completely. As I go into the break, my one question on this budget morning is it true or not? Is it true or not? And Ajay Baka, stay on. Is it true or not that in his interim budget of 2014, His Highness P. Chidambaram accepted the demand for one rank, one pension in principle, saying, I am happy to announce that the government has accepted the principle of one rank, one pension for the defense forces. Not only that, he says, I immediately propose to push a sum of 500 crores to be transferred. You made a commitment into tens of thousands of crores. You transferred 500 crores and you're crying right now. You're crying right now when this government is doing the same thing. It's a pre-election budget, not an interim budget. I'll see you on the other side. The political debate has only started.